Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Gruel MF Michael Fletcher alongside my good buddy Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the arrival of Michael Bullock in just a matter of minutes. I do want to give you guys a little bit of some stuff right now. There's a lot going on right now. We got AAA going on at this hour, UFC on Paramount Plus, their first major, I guess you can call pay-per-view level event. They're doing it right now. We got that. For you NBA fans, tonight's the night. Derrick Rose is number one. It's going into the rafters. The Bulls beat the Celtics 114-111. That just went down just a few minutes ago. I believe the Derrick Rose ceremony is going to go down in about 10 to 15 minutes from now from the United Center in Chicago. So we got that going on. It's a busy night all the way around. So we're going to try to navigate through this smorgasbord, as we would say, of incredible action here tonight. So without further ado, we're going to dive right on in. We're going to start with TNA Wrestling. Then we're going to follow it by Smackdown Live. And then we'll get very briefly into tonight's Saturday night's main event that went down. So like we said, we got a lot to talk about. So let's just dive right on in, everybody. Just give me 1 second so I can get this baby rolling. Okay, let me see if I can find it here. There it is. Okay. So with that said, we do start off with TNA Wrestling. And, well, we started out here with Cedric Alexander going one-on-one with Moose. Winner of the bout in 10 minutes even was Cedric Alexander. Yeah, I'll say it. Solid matchup. I thought it was a really good matchup. I really enjoyed the body of work. I liked the match. And it was, I could say, a solid 3-star bout. Cedric Alexander with a big victory over Moose. Nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, I'm sorry. It is all yours.
No worries. We do indeed have a big night. And yes, this was 3 to 3.25 stars for the effort here. It looked like that Moose was going to win this one, but Cedric Alexander counters a powerbomb into a pin to score the win. They traded the upper hand back and forth several times, but there were times when it felt like they slowed down too much, especially during the first half. The back half of the match was definitely more exciting, thanks to a couple of big spots. And yeah, nice win for Cedric Alexander. Maybe his biggest win since coming to TNA. So huge win for him. We'll see if that leads to anything down the line. But this was 3 to 3.25 easy. So with that being said, let's move on.
All right, with that said, we do indeed move on. Next up we had was Indy Hartwell going one-on-one with M by Elegance. And it was Indy Hartwell winning the match. And then after the match was over, Heather got, Heather did what she had to do, everything else. And then Heather attacked Indy after the match. Ash enters the ring and started barking at Heather and M, yo, knock it off, knock it off. Well, Heather pushes Ash, and then the champion, Yaling and Xia Brookside hit the ring, and it looked like everything was good except Ash got physical. And yeah, she laid out, she actually did declare that, you know what? I'm back. The medical issues are done. I am back and ready to compete again. Great news for Ash by Elegance. We were very optimistic about what was happening with Ash. Obviously, she had to step away, relinquish the title. It broke my heart. Anthony knows how much I love this girl. But Anthony, she's back. She's medically cleared, ready to go. Ash by Elegance back in TNA. But more importantly, Indy Hartwell wins the match, knocking off M. 9:05 was the time of the fall.
That was another 3-star match. The match became more competitive during the break, and we returned to see both women struggling to get to their feet. And Hartwell recovered first, hit a series of moves, but her finish was countered. She managed to maintain her position and turn the counter into a pin, but as soon as the referee, as soon as she won the match, the Elegance brand attacked. And like MF said, Ash was the one who called off the attack. M shoved her, and it looked like that the Elegance brand was going to crumble right before our very eyes. And then Xia Brookside and the Knockouts champion Lei Ying Li show up. And then Ash's deception became clear, attacked everyone else. And it definitely looks like Ash is cleared to compete again and wants to go after the Knockouts championship. The match between Indy Hartwell and M by Elegance was all right, but it lacked energy in some places. Post-match angle was more interesting. So this is right around that 2.5 to 3 threshold for it. So Indy with the nice win, but yeah, the big story, the big development. Ash by Elegance. I mean, I thought her career was over, honestly, but it looks like she is cleared to compete, and she will definitely get another chance at that Knockouts championship. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up dethroning Lei Ying Li. The next event is the first TNA Plus special of the year. It will take place on Friday night, February the 13th. It's entitled No Surrender, and we shall see how that goes. I'll have more on that in the coming weeks on Ridiculously Raw, of course. But for right now, this was 2.5 to 3 for the effort. And yeah, MF, like you said, Ash by Elegance, big development. It looks like she's ready to compete again, and I do believe she will be Knockouts champion. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. No surrender at the earliest. We'll see, but Ash is back, and I'm very happy about that. I'm glad she's able to come back, and I know nobody's more happier about it than you, MF, because of how much you've loved Ash by Elegance going back to her days as Dana Brooke, of course, and yeah, so awesome. So 2.5 to 3. Let's move on.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3, absolutely correct call. We'll see how that plays out down the line. So the next up that we had, Anthony, a staple of TNA. It is Feast or Fired. Now, if you never know what the Feast or Fired is all about, allow me to explain. In this matchup, you get a number of wrestlers. They're all fighting for one reason only. There are 4 briefcases that you want to claim. One briefcase will have a guaranteed World Heavyweight Championship match. Another briefcase has a guaranteed X Division Championship match. A third briefcase has a TNA World Tag Team title match that you get to cash in. The fourth briefcase is a dreaded briefcase, the one you don't want. That one is a guaranteed fire. You get the pink slip and you are out of TNA right then and there. Your contract becomes terminated and you are out of TNA. The men who is involved in the match: Steve Macklin, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Mace Warner, AJ Francis, Rich Swann, the Hometown Man, Eric Young, Jason Koch, John Schuyler, and making his return to TNA off of the heels of being let go by AEW. Well, no, he wasn't let go by AEW. He was let go because of Time Warner Incorporated, Time Warner Discovery didn't want AEW to sign this man. Trey Miguel makes his return to TNA. And the men who captured the briefcases were Eric Young, Steve Macklin, Trey Miguel, and Eddie Edwards. Each man got a briefcase. Next week, we will find out what were in the contents of those briefcases as the match ended in 9 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm going to give you a prediction right now, what I think is going to happen. Okay. I believe Eddie Edwards is holding a TNA World Heavyweight Championship match.
Agreed.
I believe Trey Miguel is holding an X Division Championship match.
I can see that.
I believe Steve Maclin is holding the TNA Tag Team Championship matchup.
It's actually the International Championship.
International title. I'm sorry. I thought it was World Tag Team. But
it always was the World Tag Team, but they switched it up with the International title.
Okay. So Maclin,
but I think you're right. I think Macklin's got that one.
I think Macklin's got the International. Trey Miguel has X. I think Eddie Edwards will have the World Heavyweight. And I believe Eric Young will be fired. That's my prediction. Those are my picks. That's what I think. Anthony Florio, this was a solid matchup. You can say about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. I thought it was a solid matchup. This is always hard to predict because there's so many moving parts in the matchup. The one funny thing was the hometown man actually had the briefcase, but then Eric Young was able to pull it away from him. I think Eric Young might have just pulled the fired case, and I think he should have let the hometown man keep it. It's just my thoughts, but Anthony,
I agree. This match is designed to be chaotic, so bodies were flying left and right, and people were working together to create some big spots. This was never going to be a standard wrestling match, but for what it was pretty fun. We saw some good spots and got a couple of interesting results. It will be interesting to see how it plays out. We will not know that until this upcoming Thursday night on TNA Impact, and we will then find out at that particular point in time who has all the contents. And everything you just said, MF, I 100% agree with. I do believe Eddie Edwards will have the TNA World Heavyweight Championship case. I definitely can see Trey Miguel with the X Division title, and Steve Maclin with the International, and Eric Young, unfortunately, getting the pink slips. So there isn't much more to say on that. We are just seconds away from the Derrick Rose retirement ceremony, by the way. So I've got it on my end. So
I do as well.
Awesome.
And yeah.
And what a great win for Chicago as well. I mean, that's their biggest win in how long?
Yeah. Not only that, it puts them back over 500 for the first time in 2 months.
Awesome.
And they have won 4 in a row. And they just knocked off the second best team in the Eastern Conference in the Boston Celtics. Like, that's a humongous win for the Chicago Bulls.
That's the signature win right there.
Yeah.
And to do it on Derrick Rose night, that's even bigger.
Yeah.
So if you're a Bulls fan, we're celebrating tonight. So it's going to be awesome. This is going to be a special ceremony here. It's going to be hard for us to not get emotional during this. So just a fair warning to everybody watching. So yeah, 2.5 to 3. I agree with your thoughts on the cases. Like I said, Thursday night, we'll find out who gets what. So always tricky to rate, definitely. So 2.5 to 3, I think that's the correct rating. So with that, let's continue on here.
All right. With that said, we did have the next matchup. That was Jeff Hardy going one-on-one with Mustafa Ali. Jeff Hardy winning the match 15 minutes, 25 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
This is easily fight of the night here. 4 to 4.25 stars. It felt like a pretty even matchup most of the time. Mustafa Ali had the speed advantage, but Jeff's experience, even the score. Matt Hardy outnumbered at ringside. Special Agent Zero took him out with a big boot. And the fight got pretty physical in the second half and had some entertaining moments, but it may have had a little too much going on at ringside. Mustafa Ali and Jeff Hardy worked well together. This was definitely the right choice to put in the main event. Ali is one of the bright spots in TNA, and it's always great to see him get a chance to shine. So this is at least 4, teetering on 4.25, easily the fight of the night. So not much more to say. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, 4.25, no doubt about it. Definitely the fight of the night. This was a great matchup, to say the very least, and there was really nothing bad about it. And then the final part of the show was supposed to be the goodbye for JDC. as he was going to leave. He made his retirement. They were going to show some love for him. There was a couple of new members in the system, and it was because a major beatdown attack went down. Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, and the two newest members, Bear Bronson, who joined the system. So that was a great thing. Cedric Alexander tried to clear the ring, and then he attacks Moose. So Moose kicked out of the group. Obviously, JDC gets kicked out of the system. And now the system is Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, Bear Bronson, Cedric Alexander, and it looks like maybe Alicia Edwards. Alicia was not happy. She was pissed about everything that went down on the whole thing. So she's really giving. Yeah, she got caught in. I hate to say it, but baby girl got caught in a rock and a hard place. But holy hell. That's why I think Eddie Edwards is going to probably get the world title. I think he's going to be the one to go after the title now because of everything that happened. But holy hell, what a segment to close. I mean, I'm going to say it. A lot of people were calling last week's the dumpster fire. I'll say this. Tonight was a damn good TNA Impact. Far, far better, to say the very least. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
TNA closed the show by having the system reveal its newest member to replace the retiring JDC. Dirty Dango introduced his handpicked replacement, Bear Bronson. The big swerve came when JDC and Moose were both attacked by the rest of the system. Cedric Alexander made the save with a steel chair, but then he nailed Moose and revealed he is also in the group now. And a new and improved system with Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, alongside of Bear Bronson and Cedric Alexander, JDC and Moose on the outs. Alicia Edwards definitely looked conflicted. And, which makes sense because, you know, they Moose has gotten over as a babyface again and JDC on his way out. And, but nonetheless, a very interesting segment to close out this show. And I'll say it. I'll start off with the overall review here. While this past week's show will not be winning any awards, it did feel like a big step up from what we got in the premiere the previous week. There was more in-ring action. It didn't seem like the commercial breaks were as much of an issue, and it felt like the company was putting more deserving talents on display. Mustafa Ali and Jeff Hardy put on a good show, but the Feast or Fire match provided the most bang for your buck. So I could probably say solid 7, teetering on 7.5 out of 10. So not much more to say. MF, your thoughts on all this?
Like I said, it was far better than the first episode. It was more better. It looked more structured. It looked more like what TNA was giving us during that time, during the Access TV era. I felt like it was better in so many different ways because it looked right. It felt right. It did everything it needed to do to get it right. And I think that's how they did it. I got nothing bad to say about this show. I thought they did an excellent job. I could say 7 out of 10. I thought, like I said, it was far better than what we had literally about, I want to say almost a week ago. You want to talk about a major difference? Absolutely. This was a major difference, and they nailed it. I thought they did a great job with this. So let's move on. Let's start out with SmackDown Live. So we got ourselves basically promo segment to start the show. Then we started off with the in-ring action. Carmelo Hayes versus the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov. Winner of the bout, 16 minutes and 35 seconds. And still the United States heavyweight champion, Carmelo Hayes. Holy crap. This started out hot. I mean, oh man, this was easily 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. This was a great matchup, great body of work. The action was hard hitting. The pacing was amazing. At the end of the day, the right man won. Carmelo Hayes coming out on top, and yes, and still is what I say. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it is yours.
This was their third encounter on the main roster and sixth overall with their NXT matches included, so they know each other well and wasted no time getting into it. Neither man had a clear advantage, and they took each other out with simultaneous clotheslines as the show cut to a break. I noticed Ilya Dragunov had a cut near his eye from his match against Sami Zayn that opened up again during this bout, but it never seemed to slow him down. Just like every previous time these two have crossed paths, they put on a fun and fast-paced match that had the crowd on the edge of their seats. Sometimes you find a pair that is incapable of putting on a bad performance, and this seems to be one of those pairs. They fought through 2 commercial breaks and had plenty of time to work, so they were able to make this just as fun as their previous matches. Sadly, it did end with some controversy when The Miz interfered and cost Dragunov the match. Once Melo spotted The Miz at ringside, he was upset. It looks like this was done so The Miz can get a match in the future instead of helping his former partner. So 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star, I think, is the correct rating. You could have given it 4, but that Miz interference definitely ruined it. Ilya Dragunov needs to have a main roster match against Gunther soon. It's been too long since they had one. And the narrower entranceway gave the show a more intimate feel. Ilya Dragunov had a 3-2-1 record against Hayes going into this bout, with their draw happening during an episode of WWE Speed. And yeah, the double clothesline spot rarely looks convincing, but they made it work for them. And Dragunov hitting that deadlift suplex from the middle rope, very impressive. And Melo questioning what is wrong with Dragunov to keep him fighting was funny. So it's overall right around that. It would have been a 4 to 4 1/4, but I got to bump it down to 3.5 to 3 3/4 because of that interference by The Miz. The only downside to what was an otherwise incredible match between two very gifted and talented competitors who are both world champion material in my eyes. So,
absolutely. Total agreement with that. All right. So next up we had was Jade Cargill versus Chelsea Green, non-title match. Jade Cargill winning the match in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. We don't really need to get into that. We're just going to bypass that one. Yep. Next up, what we will get into is we had the MFTs. We had Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. They went up against members of the Wyatt Six. It was Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis. The WWE Tag Team Championships on the line. Winners of the bout in 9 minutes and 40 seconds. And no! WWE Tag Team Champions Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa, the MFTs wins the title. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Solid 3, teetering on 3 1/4. Decent match, but it fell apart a little at the end with all the shenanigans at ringside. Having the titles off of the Wyatts will hopefully lead to a more competitive tag division on SmackDown again. And yeah, all about that lantern stuff, obviously. That was the main story coming into it. So yeah, solid 3 to 3 1/4 match. Like I said, it was a decent match, but more shenanigans at ringside. So just like we saw in the first match. So, but yeah, history was made, but it was definitely far from an unprecedented crowning. That was not an unprecedented crowning at all. So,
nope.
So there's nothing more to add on to that. History was made, yes, but no unprecedented crowning. So, solid 3 for me. So, hit us with those magic words, Monsoon.
Yes, it was. History was indeed made. We have a new tag team champions. Yes, on no unprecedented crowning, but it was still a solid matchup to say the very least. I'll give it about a 3-star bout. Nothing more to say there. We're just going to move right on along. Next up was Johnny Gargano versus Nathan Frazier. Nathan Frazier winning the match in 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Another 3-star bout. I thought it was a solid matchup. Yes, there was a little bit of the shenanigans as it pertained to the mask of Axiom. Obviously, Johnny Gargano stole the mask, or Candice LeRae unmasked him. He got the mask back momentarily until Gargano was able to rip it back at the end. So I mean, solid for what it was worth, but yeah, this is another one of those campy comedy thing because the mask getting involved. But there was a highlight moment where they threw the mask. Axiom had another mask. He threw that mask onto Candice LeRae, and then Candice LeRae smacked Gargano. That opened the door for Nathan Frazier to win the match. So another 3-star bout. Anthony, it's yours.
3.25, teetering on 3.5 for me. These are two guys who have a lot of similarities in their wrestling style, so it took them no time at all to find their groove and turn this into a competitive fight. Unfortunately for Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae accidentally cost him the match when she hit him instead of Nathan Frazier, which allowed Nathan Frazier to get the win. Axiom tried to get his mask back, but Candice LeRae ran off with it. Other than the ending, pretty solid match. It looks like this feud will continue for now, which is not a bad thing. But Johnny Gargano, unfortunately, he will need a new partner because of the unfortunate news regarding Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, that's a damn shame what happened to him. So, but the show must go on, as they say. And Johnny Gargano, he's probably going to have to find himself a new partner now that Tommaso Ciampa, unfortunately, is on the outs. So, but anyways, 3.25, teetering on 3.5. Not much more to say. MF, let's move on.
Yes, indeed. And the next thing that we did have was a number one contenders match for the WWE Women's Championship, women's tag team titles. I'm sorry, my fault. It was Kiana James and Julia. Oh, by the way, the new Women's United States Champion. We had Lash Legend and Nia Jax, and we had Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Winners of the bout in 10 minutes and 55 seconds, Anthony, was Kiana James and Julia. They are next in line for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. They await the winners of the match that went down here tonight on Saturday night's main event. We'll get into that in just a little bit. The match between the reigning champions, Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, and the challengers, Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan, representing the Judgment Day. But Kiana and Julia are now next in line. As Anthony, I give it to you.
I'll tell you what, this had a healthy mix of newer and veteran talent, but it felt like all three teams were on an even playing field, which worked to this match's advantage because it made the outcome harder to predict. While they all brought a lot of energy to the ring, this bout had a couple of moments that looked sloppy or mistimed. Kiana James ends up stealing the win for her team by pinning Alexa Bliss after Lash Legend had hit Alexa with her finisher. Kiana James has so much potential that is being wasted with this character. She is a great athlete and has a lot of charisma, but it all feels too gimmicky. And it sounded like Nia Jax was displeased about how a spot went down. She could be heard saying, "Well, that went well," in a sarcastic tone. And but constructive criticism aside, this was another 3 to 3.25 star match, and this is easily the biggest win for Kiana James on the main roster. I mean, albeit in a tag team match, but it's Kiana's biggest win. You just pinned one of the great women's champions of this era in Little Miss Bliss. You pinned Alexa Bliss. Yeah. One of the best women's champions of this era. Former Raw women's champion, SmackDown women's champion, a Miss Money in the Bank. I mean, Lexi's done it all, and this was a big moment for Kiana James, whose only claim to fame was when she and Fallon Henley were the NXT Tag Team Champions a couple years or so ago. So now, and
not only that, but also you also got to give it up for Julia, because it looks like WWE is giving Julia a renaissance, and god damn it, it's about flipping time. Because the biggest criticism that I had with WWE's creative was the U.S. title reign the first time around. And what also complained for me was that I felt like Julia never really got a fair shake. Well, now it looks like she is getting a fair shake, and I cannot be any more happier that Julia looks like the beautiful madness that I knew who she was at the very beginning. So I'm happy with this. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So the biggest win for Kiana James, could it lead to an even bigger win when she and Julia eventually square off with the women's tag team champions whenever they decide to do that match? So
whenever they decide to do that match, absolutely. We will not know just yet. We'll know it's going to be happening very, very soon. 3 3.25. I'll go 3.25. I agree with that. I think it deserves that rating. I think it was a solid matchup. At the end of the day, the right team. I felt like the right team won. So there's really nothing more to add. Main event of this SmackDown: Trick Williams versus Damian Priest. The fight got thrown out in 13 minutes and 40 seconds. This was chaos. Basically, all 4 guys that were going to be in the matchup: Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, Trick Williams, Damian Priest. They all got involved. This blew up all over the place. It was chaos. I'm running amok. This was a solid main event. Obviously, a little disappointed because we got a non-finish. You can make an argument for an NA. I'm not doing that. 3 stars is my rating for the match because I really think they did a good job with it. Nothing more to add. Anthony Florio, go. 3 stars for me. 13:40 as the fight it basically ends in practically a no contest.
Solid match with an ending that left a lot to be desired, especially after some other dirty finishes earlier in the show. 3 to 3.25 once again. And it was hard to tell, but WWE, actually, no, let me take that back. It's always fun when Damian Priest gets to fight someone as big as he is. It feels like he lets loose a bit. And that double kick spot did not look very good. Priest was barely hit, but he still sold it. So this was another 3 to 3.25. Let me start the overall review here.
Yep.
SmackDown did a good job balancing several stories while simultaneously hyping Saturday night's main event and the Royal Rumble over the next 2 weekends. Each segment and video package felt like it served a purpose, but the biggest highlights of the night belonged to 2 matches. Johnny Gargano and Nathan Frazier put on an enjoyable encounter to continue their feud, but Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov stole the show once again. WWE has found something special with these two, so it was not surprising to see them go back to this well so quickly. And it set up Saturday night's main event to, have the potential to be a good show, but it all depended on how WWE decided to book everything. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. So, I think I'll go 7.5 once again. So I think that's the best I can go. So not much more to say. MF, your overall thoughts, and then we'll get into the second half of the Montreal doubleheader.
Yeah, 7.5. I thought they did a really good job with the show. I thought the body of work on everything was solid. It wasn't spectacular, but it didn't need to be. They did everything. They told a story. Everything looked good. And now we go off to the Saturday night's main event. Yes, this was also from Montreal. This was from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, at the Bell Center. And here we go. It was Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. That was the opening match. The match never got off the ground. Cody Rhodes was trying to come into the ring, does his usual pose, and Jacob jumped him. And it was on. A brawl. It was crazy. You couldn't stop this fight. They were going all over the goddamn place. They went from one side of the arena to the other side of the arena. They had security. They had referees. Nick Aldis was pleading to try to stop this. It went all over the place. And then Drew McIntyre hit, and he attacked both men and laid them both out. Oh, this was insane. This was a great opener for the show. This is a no match. So there's no rating for this. But I do believe this may open the door for maybe a triple threat for the WWE Championship. If they want to go down that route, they could. But unfortunately, also you got to remember that the winner of the next match, the winner of the main event later in the night, they get the shot at Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. So Nick Aldis may have a situation on his hand because you got Cody, you got Jacob, whoever wins that match, and you got Drew McIntyre. What a mess. They got Anthony Florio as a segment. This was nuts, and I loved every minute of it.
This was the best and most effective way to deliver a fight between Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu without ever having the match get to the ring and risking an unnecessary loss for either man. The intensity was excellent, the crowd was red hot, and the Drew McIntyre appearance was a nice surprise that signifies a triple threat match between these three men is not out of the question. And Michael Cole mentioned Mad Dog Vachon on commentary, paying homage to one of Montreal's greatest, toughest, and most badass wrestlers. So, and the reason why it was done, they didn't want either guy to take a loss. They protected both men. So this was the best and most effective way to go around it. So it's obviously an NA, of course, but I'll tell you what, like I said, this was the best, most effective way to deliver a fight between these two men. And there's nothing wrong with protecting both men. I mean, Cody just lost the title a couple weeks ago. Jacob Fatu's just coming back from injury. So they had no choice but to go this route. And I commend them for it. So triple threat match between these three, definitely can see it.
Yeah.
So not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Maybe the Chamber or maybe even Mania. I don't know. We'll see. Nothing more to say. Let's move on to our first real match of the night. And boy, howdy, we had a big one.
It was for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. It was the champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the challengers, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez, winners of the bout in 13 minutes and 25 seconds. And still, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
3.5, teetering on 3 3/4. The match was excellent as a whole. There were some disjointed spots right before the Rodriguez interference, but everything else leading up to it and after was quite good and befitting a division that has been the hottest in WWE over the last 6 weeks. Giving the women time and let them tear the house down is typically a winning formula. Roxanne Perez does a lot of little things extremely well for someone still so young in her career. Her presence, including facial expressions, body language, and character work, are superb. And Liv Morgan continues to get megastar reactions, lending credence to the idea that she should win the Royal Rumble and challenge for one of the women's championships, or at the very least be in contention. And there is a reason why Liv Morgan is, from what I'm hearing, being groomed for a big-time WrestleMania payday. So we'll keep an eye on that. She currently is my pick to win the Women's Royal Rumble match, but that could change next week. So, but right now, Liv Morgan is my betting line favorite to win it. So, but anyways, 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4 of a star. Excellent match as a whole. Yes, there were some disjointed spots before Raquel's interference, but everything leading up to it and after, very good. And I'm so happy that the women's tag team division finally has prestige, finally has meaning. We have not had that, and maybe since the titles were introduced years ago. And I know they've gotten a lot of flack over the years, but I can honestly say, MF, as I give it to you, this may be the best that the women's tag team division has looked, and it's about time that they're getting this showcase, and this is their best showcase ever.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I totally agree with it. And Yeah, this is at least a 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star. I thought they did an amazing job, and I thought they did incredible. I really got nothing more to say. I thought it was brilliant, amazing. Yeah, it was perfect for me. It was great, and that's um, it was really good. So yeah, nothing more to say on that. Next up, Anthony, we had was one of the fights of the evening, probably the fight of the night for me.
MF
Age,
special.
an MS special. Guys, if you remember Wrestle Kingdom 10, you remember this match. Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles. At the time, it was in the Tokyo Dome in front of 35,000 for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Then at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans at the Superdome, it was AJ Styles versus Nakamura. That was when Nakamura won the Royal Rumble. AJ was the WWE champion. AJ walked away that night. There's been some rivalries here and there and everything else. This was labeled as possibly the last time these two were going to go at it. AJ versus Nakamura. AJ winning the match. 21 minutes, 20 seconds. I'll say this. This was a fight. This was my fight of the night. Hands down, fight of the night. 4 stars. I thought they were incredible. I thought they ripped the this was solid back and forth. This had me thinking of that Wrestle Kingdom fight when they fought for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, and it had a little bit of that WrestleMania 34-esque, but I'm going to say it. This was a damn good fight, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Anthony, fight of the night for me, 4 stars. AJ and Nakamura, they never, ever disappoint, and they did it again.
I'm going to do you one better. I think this was their best match in WWE. I believe. Oh, my God. With all due respect, I think you underscored it a little bit. I think this was 4.25 to 4.5 stars. Man, oh, man. This was a fantastic match that put over the rivalry of the combatants, highlighted AJ Styles ahead of his career-threatening match against Gunther at the Royal Rumble next week, featured some snug action, great selling from Nakamura, and a show of respect from rivals and friends to close it out. You noticed AJ Styles wore a mask to the ring, reminiscent of the one he wore to the ring against Nakamura in 2016 in New Japan. And Michael Cole told the story of AJ and Shin's rivalry, including references to the Bullet Club and Chaos, their respective New Japan factions. Easily the best match these two have had on the main roster. Better than WrestleMania 34, better than those other matches they had throughout 2018. But this was easily the best one. This was 4.25, right around 4.5. This was an incredible match. You could definitely make an argument for fight of the night. Right guy won here. With all due respect, to this day, I still feel that Shinsuke Nakamura should have won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 34. He should have won the title that night. As much as I love AJ, and I do, I will throw it up for him, Fortune Force style, forever and a day. But AJ had no business winning on that night. It should have been Shin. Shin should have won the title on that night. Just saying. But tonight, they most definitely got it right. AJ needed to win more. Shin will be just fine. I mean, he's basically in a utility veteran role now. And AJ Styles, like I said, next week, he goes up against Gunther in that career-threatening match. He loses. His storied Hall of Fame career is over. We'll definitely have some more to say on that on Friday night for a special Friday night edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, where we will preview the Royal Rumble. We'll definitely I know we're going to definitely have something to say about this. So, so incredible match. Easily the best one in WWE for these two. And it's about damn time. This was far better than the Mania match and all the others in between. 4.25, 4.5 stars. You could definitely call fight of the night. But then again, MF, this next main event also has legitimate claim to fight of the night honors.
Yes, it does, because this is the matchup, the fatal four-way, to determine the number one contender for the WWE Championship, and that winner gets that fight at the Royal Rumble event. We had Trick Williams, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, and Damian Priest, winner of the bout in 17 minutes, and the number one contender for the WWE Championship, getting the opportunity at the Royal Rumble at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That goes down 1 week from today. Sami Zayn wins it all. Anthony Florio, Sami wins it in 17 even.
I believe I had this one. I had Sami winning this, and I'm not at all surprised. This was a party match, a collection of great spots, nonstop action, some dramatic near falls, and a great finish that popped the crowd and gave them exactly what they wanted. Their hometown hero advancing to a big title match at the Royal Rumble. Fantastic cap to a strong show. 4 to 4.25 stars on this one. Absolutely deafening ovation for Sami Zayn, as expected from his hometown crowd in Montreal. And sign of a seasoned veteran. Sami Zayn slipped while trying to walk the ropes, and instead of falling apart, he adjusted and delivered a tornado DDT for a near fall. He cleaned it up, adjusted on the fly, and pulled off the spot anyway. 4 to 4.25 stars, second best fight of the night. The outcome, yet again, they got the outcome right.
Yep.
When it comes to the people of Montreal, there was only one outcome, and that was Sami Zayn. I think they also would have been fine with Randy Orton winning this match as well. I would not have had an issue with it. But the one guy that Montreal did not want to see win this match was Trick Willie. And he almost did a couple times. But
yeah, he almost did.
It is too soon for Trick. He just got to the main roster, but make no mistake about it. After what I saw here tonight, MF, he's already a main eventer. He proved that he can hang with the top guys.
Yeah.
And it may not be this year, but I believe within the next year or so, and maybe light years down the line, I'm going to go on the record. I believe Trick Williams one day will be a future WrestleMania main eventer. And I also believe he will be a future world champion. No doubt.
All right.
So he proved his worth here tonight. He is a main eventer. He proved he can hang with those guys, but it's a little too soon for Trick Willie right now. But don't worry. He's going to whoop that trick soon enough, and he's going to be the guy in the very near future. But for right now, this was Sami's night. They got it absolutely right. And is he going to win the title at the Rumble? I'll be honest. I want to see him do it, but I don't think so. They just gave the belt to Drew. I think it would be a disservice to take the title off of him so quickly. But I'm going to make a bold prediction right here and right now, and MF put me on the record for this. You do know next year, WrestleMania 43 will be in Saudi Arabia next year.
Yes.
That's the night Sami gets his world championship moment. Book it.
Yep.
4 to 4.25, second best fight of the night. MF, they got it right. There only could have been one guy tonight.
Yeah, it had to be Sami, no doubt about it. I get it. There was no big surprise here. It was a solid matchup, no doubt about it. 4 to 4.25. You absolutely nailed it. Look, I think it was definitely a very interesting to play off what they did, and yeah, it definitely was a solid matchup. And actually, I want to give a shout out to Ric Flair 8867. Great matchup. The two definitely slowed down, but still the best match on the card. I think he's referring to Nakamura versus AJ. Total agreement, my friend. Thank you so much for that. Agreed. As always. This is why I always say we have the best fans in the world, because when you get people that is, this is what we love the fan engagement, man. Totally appreciate it. Thank you for that comment. And yeah, absolutely. I thought they did an incredible job. Sami Zayn definitely earning the shot at the title is awesome. I'm happy with it. I can't wait to see what he does with it. And yeah, overall, another solid. I thought this was a pretty good Saturday night's main event. I thought it was a solid show. Yes, I know a lot of people are going to complain, oh, but we only got 3 matches. Guys, it went smooth. I didn't even notice it. The show itself, this was one of the more focused Saturday night main events we've had in a long, long time. 7.5 out of 10. That's my rating. I got to give it. I thought they did an incredible job with the show. So nothing more to say, Anthony Floyo. Give us that. I actually do have AAA results, so I can do it quick.
Okay. With all due respect, MF, I think you underscored this. You most assuredly underscored this. Reason being, this was by far the best Saturday night's main event of this current run.
All right.
With great in-ring action, strong angles, and a fan service finish that set up a huge Royal Rumble title bout. This year's Royal Rumble features new of the weaker builds in recent memory, but as a show judged on its own merit, this was a fantastic one that highlighted the women, hinted at what's next for Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, gave AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura one last chance to showcase their rivalry, and ended with an action-packed main event. You could not ask more out of these primetime specials. This is at least, and I mean at least, a 9 out of 10. Absolutely incredible show. Heck, I could go as high as 9.5 if I wanted to, but I think that might be a reach. So I think 9 out of 10 is the appropriate rating, and definitely, for my money, the best Saturday night's main event of this current era. Well done. Nothing more to say. We got a Mikey's Mindset. MF's got some results from AAA. So
Yes,
MF, what went down in old Mexico tonight?
Well, we started it off first with a cruiserweight championship fight. The Laredo Kid against Octagon Jr. and Manny Pacquiao, and Laredo Kid winning the match in 6 minutes and 56 seconds. Then we had El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. putting the Latin American title on the line against Meta Wolf, and it was El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. winning the match 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Then there was a backstage. Well, then we had a big announcement from Penta. They were talking about Penta and everything that was going on in his entire career. And the next thing we did was they had a big announcement. Coming up in March is the Rey de Reyes, which is the King of Kings, their version of the King of the Ring tournament. But this year, it's a different format. What they're going to do, it's going to be fatal 4-ways, and the winners will get to advance to the Rey de Reyes event. That will go down on March 14th. The winner of the tournament will be the Rey de Reyes, and will get the traditional sword, which is given to the winner of the competition as king. But more importantly, this year, and this is the first time ever, the winner gets a shot at the AAA Mega Campeonato. They never did this before. If you won, you got the sword, and you were called the king of AAA. This year, not only do you get the sword, but you now get a guaranteed shot at the Mega Championship. This is big deal. And next week is the first qualifying matchup. It's going to be, in the matchup, it's going to be Jack Cartwheel, Aerostar, Apollo Cruz, and La Parca. That's your first matchup. That goes down next week. Also, next week there's going to be a matchup that is going to be also next week. Well, this one's going to be to my heart. And Anthony, you might want to batten down the hatch on this one. La Hiera goes one-on-one with Lola Vice. Special guest referee, Mr. Iguana.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It exploded tonight. It went down. Let's say that. So, main event of the episode we had was Pagano and Psycho Clown representing the Psycho Circus, the Tokyo Bad Boys, the NGD, and from WWE, the Motor City Machine Guns. Yes, yeah. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin makes their way to Mexico. And when it was all said and done, the Psycho Circus wins the match in 12 minutes and 39 seconds. That's it. We're done. We're out of here. So, on Tuesday night, another edition of Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. He'll have all the layouts, all the recaps from TNA. He's got, I think it was a special event, right? In TNA, Anthony?
No.
Oh, okay. So just regular TNA.
Special event is not until February 13th.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the no surrender. There's no special events.
Okay.
So it will be
traditional.
It will be Monday Night Raw, the fallout from the Royal Rumble. I'm sorry. It's the Go Home show.
Yes.
I got Rumble on the mind.
And NXT. Yeah, no, that's okay. So we got that. So that's going down. Then on Monday Night Friday. Raw, yep, Monday Night Raw and NXT. On Friday, we're back. Yes, Cerebral Smack Talk actually comes back on Friday this time around, as we're gonna have obviously NXT. We're gonna have the recap of TNA Impact. We're gonna have Smackdown Live. We're previewing the Royal Rumble, and then the next day on that Saturday, yes, we will give us our result and our we'll give you a recap of that Royal Rumble. So yeah. So guys, that's it. We're done. We're out of here. For Anthony Florio, I am Michael Fletcher saying so long, everybody, and we'll see you all on